Russell Leedy is a singer-songwriter and producer crafting songs in many genres of music. And he's with us here today on the show. How are you?
I am terrific, Toby. It is such a delight to meet you. Thank you for taking time out to talk with me. Appreciate it.
Well, it's a delight to meet you as well and have you on this programme. Now, first of all, you've got a new song out at the moment called Dirty Little Secret. So can you just tell us a little bit about that song and what it's about, really?
Absolutely. What it was first, it was a fun song to write, but with most of the music that I write, it's about real people, and this song was about a real individual was in a tough relationship, and so it's the point of view of that individual speaking out, kind of in a cathartic way, saying, "Hey, you know what? You might want me to be your dirty little secret, but it's not going to happen that way." So it's kind of speaking out to the other person in I think a self emboldened way.
Yeah. And because you record music in all sorts of different genres, which particular one does this belong to? Do you feel it has any kind of classification?
Yeah, that's a great question. This kind of goes with rock and soul. I have a big R&B influence in my background. You'll hear a lot of R&B and soul in my music, but also, I've got some rock influences. And so I would say it kind of combines soul and rock mostly in this particular song.
Yeah, that's an interesting combination. Do you find that works well?
Yes, it does. When I set out to write these songs, I don't know, I've written about 30 in the last year. I wanted to take from different music genres, certainly blues, R&B, jazz, even some hip hop, some of the great beats that they use in rock and roll, and then kind of meld those together in a melting pot of a song, and come up with a little bit different sound. I think we might have achieved that on a number of these songs.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you first start to get into music in the first place then?
Yeah, very young. I can remember. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to my aunt, I guess it was yesterday, maybe the day before. It was real. She had a piano. I was 5 years old, and I remember this piano. And every time I'd hear her play this piano, I was just mesmerized by these sounds that would come out. It was, the greatest toy ever made in my mind. It was fantastic. And so I would sit down, and I would probably, much to their horror, be banging out all kinds of stuff. I'm sure it made no sense to them. But in my mind, it made perfect sense. And that's really, how I got started. And as I kept, as I got older, I just continued to pursue music, played the trumpet for a while, continued to play the piano, of course, and just expanded my musical horizons.
Did you take any lessons of any kind, or did you just sort of figure it out for yourself?
Yeah, I did. I started just kind of sitting down, like Paul McCartney and John Lennon, and they would sit down and just write music on the guitar, and I would just, but, then I did take some lessons at various times throughout the course of my life, not extensively, but, learned some music theory along the way, but, mostly just through repetition, reading, practicing, and developing my ear, my skill that way.
Yeah. So Kings of Carlisle, how did that itself come about?
Well, I was a DJ, okay, and I did live DJ shows at one time, and my partner Keith, who unfortunately passed away last November 10th, but he was a guitar player. But I'd started this DJ company, and we'd play local bars and things like that. And we kind of became very popular in this small town. And so we were kind of poking fun of ourselves. We should just call ourselves Kings of Carlisle, the kings of this very little town, So it's kind of self-humor there for us.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. There's a small town in the US called Carlisle, is there?
That is
It's stealing
correct.
all the names from us.
Yes. Hey, You know what, though? You guys gave us the Beatles, right? You gave us some great artists.
Yeah. I guess it explains a lot, because I was thinking, why have they named a band after a British city? That's a bit random.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So, what have been some of your favourite songs and albums that you've worked on with this group?
Oh, man. I think one of my favorite songs, as far as that I've written for Kings of Carlisle, is a song that I haven't put out there yet, but it's called Waiting on You. And maybe, next year sometime we'll put that one out. That's probably one of my favorites. Just finished writing a song that's going to come out in, I guess it's October, called Show Me the Light. And I sing part of the chorus anyway in Spanish, and Enséñame la Luz. And I think that's going to be an outstanding song. I'm hoping the people are going to like it. I know I loved writing it. And then January, I guess we're going down to Miami to film a music video for a song, Every Moment. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Those are some of my favorites. But we're going to release music, for the next 2 years and see how the people like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose it's great to have it all planned out. Although I guess you can't really commit to much live stuff, because if you were to have planned that a couple years ago, it would basically all be cancelled. You could go from being really busy to having nothing on at all. Oh,
man. We had some stuff lined up that we thought maybe was going to happen in January, and it looks like now, but there's a resurgent with the COVID, I guess the variant strain, and so I'm not sure that it's going to happen now. So it's just, you just don't know right now, what to pursue, because you just don't know if it's going to get canceled or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess there's no point really planning anything. You just have to assume the worst, and then you won't be disappointed.
Right. Expect the worst, and everything else will be, if it works out, you can jump up and down with joy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a pleasant surprise.
Absolutely.
And how's the COVID affected you overall? Have you sort of been overall disappointed, or have you had a little bit more time to perhaps record at home and stuff?
Yes. In that regard, it was good, because I've spent a lot of time recording in the studio here, putting music together. On the other hand, you miss playing music live, and you miss the interaction with the people, walking on stage and talking to them, singing for them, and that personal interaction that you get as an entertainer with your audience. Really do miss that. I was fortunate enough to go hear some live music this past weekend, and it was really great to see some guys out there playing again that I know very well. And but it on the one hand, it was kind of disappointing not to be able to play more live shows, but certainly gave us lots of time to work on studio stuff.
Oh yeah. So who would you say are your main musical influences then?
I go back to some old school R&B artists that I really like. Major Harris, Earth, Wind and Fire, one of my favorite bands of all time. Certainly rock and roll bands like Led Zeppelin, one of my all-time favorite, Jimmy Page, just an unbelievable guitar player. So I, have a lot of different bands that I really, really like. U2 is another one that's my one of my favorites. I got to see them a lot of years ago, actually, in Florida, and it was a lot of fun. But certainly a lot of R&B, Freddie Jackson, those Major Harris, just fantastic. Even back to the, Berry Gordy days of the Temptations, some of those great songs by the Temptations that I think would still be number one songs today if they would release them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite a diverse mix of people there, isn't it? Yes.
I'm happy to have been exposed to and influenced by so many different types of music, especially living in Miami, a wonderful Latin community in Miami, and the beautiful musicians that I was able to work with there, and the things that they taught me about those Latin rhythms and the music was fantastic. And obviously, this next song is kind of a tribute to them and to that music.
Oh, yeah. Well, where are we able to check out all your music, in particular the new song, Dirty Little Secret?
You can go to kingsofcarlislekoc.com and you can download it there, and I would appreciate it greatly. Of course, you can go to Spotify and stream it off of Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. So all of those places you can get the song, and I appreciate it when you do.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us here on the show today. It's been great having you on.
I've just had a fantastic time. It is such a pleasure to meet you. Wish you well. Good luck to you.